Hey everyone, this is Uthris, and welcome back to Timber and Stone. We're at day 63 of Freeport. Obviously we don't have a port yet, but that is in the works eventually. It's going to be kind of more of the later gameplay elements is to try and build the port city itself. Right now, we're just over the farmlands. And off camera, I did add some more hay piles as almost like a field that was just like harvested as a detail. And so I think that looks pretty cool to have next to the other farms. I've also built a little bit on this front wall, but I've been mainly working on getting the first floor of the keep all laid out and ready for, whatever we have in store for it. I'm going to go over and touch upon some details. Obviously, by the main entrance, we have two main statues kind of guarding the front door, followed by two turrets. This follows the exact same kind of layout Lothloria's keep has pretty much. We have a well in one of the courtyards, and then also kind of a small garden area on the left side. This side room over here, this is the library. And so we have a bunch of bookcases, a bunch of medium tables and chairs for people to find a nice seat in. And then if you go across the Great Hall, you'll be greeted with the first living quarters. And it has kind of a mud room to a dining room and a two-person bedroom. The second floor is going to have pretty much kind of the same thing above each section here. And then we'll just kind of cap up all the walls and finish it off. Thank you so much, by the way, for your guys' suggestions on basic gameplay as well. It's helping me a lot with my wood situation. I've been pretty much just coming over here and harvesting mature trees, and I haven't had a wood issue since. Leaving the stumps behind does help a lot with tree regrowth. In fact, it's the only way to regrow trees besides buying the seed and replanting it yourself, as far as I know. And yeah, I set up some patrol routes along the main road for our guards. I think they're asleep at the moment, but they would be patrolling the two entryways into town. We are getting a little bit of a frame drop if I zoom out too much. There is kind of a lot of stuff going on, so I tend to zoom in about to here throughout the playthrough. I have some not mines, but some areas that are going to be inside the walls of the front gate, or the first floor here, and that's just going to be some dry storage rooms. And it looks like we have a merchant arriving, which is great. But this episode is going to be mainly building. A lot of design work is about to be had, and we're going to try and bring up all the walls from the first floor to meet the second floor, essentially. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. I use the castle ruin brick for the first two layers, and that provides kind of a mossy look to our structure, because the lower layers would be closer to water and would probably have some moss growing on it in the long run. And then every layer after that, I'm using just normal castle brick. So we can just walk up the design here. Actually, I want to leave that blank because we need the center column started on this tower. Now the corner towers, the only way to get down into them is from above, because there's no way to get really a corner door that looks nice in my opinion. So unlike Lothloria, it's the only way to get into the lower sections. And I could technically post archers by these 2-story tall windows and they could shoot out of it. The fence post that I'm using kind of like as the window itself will probably interfere with that, but oh well. I don't think I should really be building up more than 2 blocks at a time. That way everyone or the builder can you know, walk along the edges as he's building it without running into any issues. So the initial phase of building up these walls is going to be pretty straightforward. I just hope we have enough stone protection or production to keep up with the demand. And we only have 1 builder at the moment. I can make more to speed it up, but if I do that, what will happen is essentially the building will commence too quickly for the supplies that we have. So I'm kind of holding off on doing that. Just keep tracing around the perimeter here. We also need some timbered plaster. That's what I'm using for the residential area. It's kind of, you know, allowing it to break off and become its own section that's not stone walls. Now the door does fit here a little wonky, but there's not much I can do about it besides just moving the door over 1 block really. And I could. That's something to deal with, but as you can see, it's just people can still get in and out, and that's really all I care about. The same kind of issues with these doors down here. And I'm getting messages on Steam, so let me just basically log off for a second. Alright, I'm back. So basically took care of that. Forgot to set myself AFK before I recorded. This happens. It's not a big deal. Just need to try and set up an optimum set of construction here since we're going to be building a lot. I guess I can make the blacksmith temporarily into some sort of builder. I mean, he does live out here, so it's not too far of a walk for him. And then we can just get back into constructing our wonderful walls. We have 3 stonemason doing their things at the moment. Hopefully that'll be enough for having just 2 builders. We can just drag out everything in all the directions that we need. I think after the keep, we'll definitely build the trading post. That is a major priority. And then after that, I don't know what we'll be building next. It could be really anything. At that point, the plan maybe to get some more professional buildings in besides just the trading post. And a spider has been spotted by our person on patrol. And we can just basically charge him, and Humphrey can go deal with that. Gotta go with double speed here. Don't want things progressing too slowly for you all. But this is why you have them on patrol. You gotta catch them before they become any sort of threat. I need to bring our miner from the mines over to the construction zone, just so, you know, she needs to take out some areas that I messed up on off camera. This is generally the best way to do it, just bring her over manually. Because what happens with their AI is that they go to the closest spot initially as soon as they wake up in the morning. So obviously the mine is the closest to where they sleep. She sleeps right here. So therefore, she comes over here every morning to start digging out our mine. And I need to go back through, make sure we're not missing any important ores in the wall, like this gold. That's pretty handy to have, so we can have some purchasing power. I think that's about it right now. Once my blacksmith's level 20, I'm going to try and get the best shield and breastplate and helm for Karakos. Karakos is essentially, I mean, he's the highest level infantry that we have. He's essentially the captain of the guard at this point. He has slain many a undead and many a goblin and many a spider for us. This person, I don't think I've come over here for a while. This person was gonna be a migrant, but before the menu came up to accept them into town, they got attacked by a group of wolves and they died. I didn't have any control over them because they weren't accepted into the town just yet, so I basically just had to watch them die. It's a shame, and I really need to get that cleaned up somehow. I don't really know how to do it. Also off camera, what I did was I tried to actually deal with the skeleton horde that we have near the ocean, and basically I just lost an archer by doing that, so it wasn't necessarily a successful defense. Oh boy, we have a lot of skeletons coming through town. No major ones though. These are just kind of the smaller ones. So we can just tell everyone to charge at this point. Obviously we're spread a little thin right now. That's okay. Archer, stop. Please start shooting that skeleton. And okay, you missed. That's fine. Okay, you hit the hay pile. This is a really bad location for the archer to be fighting in. How's this guy doing? Everyone's fine on HP. I also have a bit of a backlog of bandages, so I don't really know how that works. Really? At all. Let's see. Anyone low on HP? And if you are, where are you going? I wanna see if they actually have a skill. Patrolling. You're at full HP. You're Nat. And you're disloyal. Makes you an asshole. Thanks, guy. Food, torch, fishing rod, club, bow, fire arrows. How do they heal themselves? 'Cause I have bandages. Oh well, I don't know how that works. I'll just keep building over here. Get clear of those awesome messages. The miner is going to be clearing out these areas, which is pretty nice. We're going to go with a different flooring for in here. We're just going to do flat stone. It's a nice clean looking stone, and definitely will mark out the storage area that we're going to have in here. We're going to have food storage, we're going to have miscellaneous storage. We're going to need a lot of storage in the long run. We only have 26 citizens at the moment, and you can check that in your unit list here. It's in the top left. And so I think the cap is 50, at least that's what I heard. And so obviously we're going to need more farmers at some point. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 farmers. We have enough farmhouses out there for 10, and then plus I think 2 herders, which I think that's about all we should need to supply 50 people worth of food. I mean, my food supply has been going up steadily with this many people, and I even sold like 3,000 food not too long ago off camera. How long is this episode? We are at 14 minutes. So obviously building and construction is gonna go a little slow on the castle. That's why I did a lot of off-camera work. because I figured it would actually take this long. I need to delete this section or something so we can get that center column built. Castle brick. How's our brick supply? Not good. We are essentially using it faster than we can create it, which is a shame. And there's our little storage room, or at least one of them, and we can put a door here. It's a nice little timber door. Let's have it open into the room. I really like the courtyards, how they're coming out. You know, we have two nice stone benches, the nice well, and this side looks really nice. And once all the walls are built up around it, and we get a roof going around the inside, and all you can see down into the castle are these two courtyards, I think it's going to be a pretty cool effect. And the hedges and things are used using these seedlings that you get for cutting down trees. So let's put some flooring here. If I do timber planks, this will essentially keep our builders occupied, because well, we need them to be occupied and constantly building. And if we're low on stone, hopefully they can switch to doing some timber. And so our staircase is kind of a weird mishmash of blocks. There's no real good way for me to do this, so I've been essentially having to make do with what I have. And so what we get is essentially something that looks like this on the inside. So, I mean, it fits inside the wall nicely-ish, and then just walks up. Now this upper area, unlike, you know, Lothloria, this isn't going to connect to any of these side rooms up here. This is just a balcony area, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put the balcony on here. So, flooring. Smooth timber. So this is just basically to oversee, you know, the Great Hall, and you know, guards can sit up here fairly easily. Yeah, I'm really happy with all the detail that we can fit inside these rooms from using, you know, resource crates. And resource crates, which are pretty cool, you can stack them on top of each other once they're built. I think that's a really good effect. You can fit a lot more storage by doing that. I have a feeling we might end up running out of dirt before we have all of these bricks completed. Construction, floor, flat stone. Let's do a quick scan before nighttime, just to make sure we're not going to be under threat of anything at the moment. No, that's Karakos patrolling his road. Woodcutter's safe. Nothing going on over there. Got some sheep off in the distance. And then this freaking island of death is just where the zombie horde has been going back and forth, killing everything. I should really just dispose of these corpses. I mean, I'm not really collecting them right now. And it is getting nighttime, so I'm gonna do a bit of a skip here, just so I don't I mean, most of my people fall asleep at night anyways. Nothing happens on my save at nighttime, which is fine. I prefer everyone working at once and in tandem rather than trying to split my workers up in a day-night. Essentially, you get the same amount of work done, I think. It's just the nighttime becomes, you know, boring at some stage. You're not getting anything done, at least in my save right now. I'm going to keep the goblins, I think, because I can harvest them for scrap metal and get some free tools out of that, essentially. I think these wolves are still alive. You are. Okay. Well, the zombie horde hasn't found you guys yet. Good for you. And this necromancer really needs to die. I was sitting here as an adventurer on this side of the lake, like shooting a bow at them, but it really wasn't doing anything. As you can see, I died here because they just kind of, there was apparently a pack of them under the water, and they just kind of rose up and swarmed me before I could do anything. It was pretty funny to see. Alright, I will be right back once we are in the next day. Okay, everyone, welcome back, and I'm going to end this episode a little bit different than normal. We are taking control of Caracas. I made him an adventurer to do so, and we're going to swim over to the undead island, and hopefully the plan is I'm going to try and do combat in first person real quick, just as a melee, and see if it's easy to kite something around or not easy to kite something around. And then oh boy, that did not go over quite that well. So Caracas took a bunch of damage, but I think the main issue was, one, when you're adventure mode, it still keeps the time speed that you're set at, and so I was running at double time speed, which is not good. And also, he's only a level 3 adventurer, so I'm going to keep Caracas as an adventurer and level him up, probably between episodes. And then I'm going to try in first person to pull just sections of these undead away. And then I'll have like all my footmen kind of guarding right up here. So if I can pull them away and swim back across and just pull them up this hill, kind of in small packs, I should be able to thin it out and then do a full-on charge against this necromancer. We will probably lose some people in that process, but these guys need to go. So next episode, the siege of Undead Island. Look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are enjoying the content, feel free to subscribe. Check out my other videos for my gaming goodness that I like to share with all y'all. And leave a like. Leave a comment on what I should be building next or what you would like me to work on eventually. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See you guys in the next one.